Good morning, Egor.
Good morning, Paul.
You come to the campus more frequently than most our domestic alums, and it's always good to see you. Just tell us what brings you to the academic world, and you took a very different trajectory after graduation. So tell us what happened after 10 years ago, after you graduate. What choices did you make to bring you here?
Thanks for the opportunity, and this is a great opportunity to say hello to generations of University-Fudan graduates, and it's a privilege to have this conversation with you, first of all. Now, when it comes to this years after graduation, I think there is a logic. When I look backwards, there's quite some logic in what have been happening. And the logic goes like this. Years ago, I was working for a university in Russia, and I defended my PhD in Russia. And then afterwards, I left for China and stayed in China for almost 15 years, and I was involved in business. I was electric equipment business. Basically, I was right in it when we met. And I stayed there for several more years after I had graduated. And for me, I think what changed a lot was that the program opened up such a huge world that I realized that, having the same or even bigger piece of the same pie was not something that I was looking for. So around 2018, I started thinking about some new opportunities. And by that time, I had been coming back to education, but in business.
Right.
And I was teaching at several schools. I was frequently talking to people. I was enlarging my network all around the world, but also in China. And I think by 2019, it was clear for me that I wanted to change my life a lot. So I sold my business here in China. And I moved to Russia, and I was one of the directors in the board of directors of the Russian largest business school. And I stayed there for a few years. We had very turbulent times in terms of COVID, in terms of everything that happened afterwards. But then life brought me to Europe, and that is where I am now. Now I am in Europe, my family is in Europe, and to a certain extent, that was, coming back to the things that I have always wanted to do. So I started with education. I had my business for 15 years. I sold my business, and now I'm in education again, but on a new level as a professor of business practice with Skolkovo School of Management, but also as a consultant. And as a consultant, I work with several countries, with several companies, long-term basis also. So which brings a certain balance between the two. I don't have to spend all my life at factories now. I'm spending it in places like this one, in beautiful new campuses. So life has changed a lot, and I think to a good result. Academia is a fantastic world, but then again, to work with executives in business schools, you need to keep your edge in industrial change.
Of course.
You have to follow what happens in industry. You have to breathe the air that is being breathed by the industry. And that gives you a certain balance. And also, academia gives depth to your consulting practice. Thoughtfulness, approaches, relations, other things.
Great point. Great point. The question I think I want to ask, one of that is, so you graduated 10 years ago.
That's right.
And you're in business education throughout. What really remains as valuable in the business education you took some 10 years ago versus what you're seeing that's rapid change, rapid pace, technology, geopolitics, and how these come together and influence the business environment and business decisions. So what do you think that are still the valuables from your education?
Huge lot. You know, Henry Mintzberg, a professor in Canada in strategy, he once said that we tend to talk about change quite a lot, and we concentrate on the change because of the vividness bias. But then look at your buttons here. They haven't changed much from Mesopotamian times. You can find buttons in Mesopotamia, they were made of clay. So they are still quite the same, the material is different. So structurally, I think the program is fantastic in terms that it provides the foundations that are not changing that much. I can give you an example. Let's take the class on influence that we had with Professor Bunderson years ago. And that class, it taught us the things that do not change much over the last 300 years. Dominating systems exist in around human beings, but also primates for probably millions of years. And that is, on top of that, you have the relations. And you have professors who know you by the name. You know, I've been teaching at business schools for quite a while now, and I've seen business schools all around the globe. And I think it is really difficult for me to identify another school where the relations between professors and students are so direct and so intimate. And this is something absolutely amazing. Professors remember you by name, you know, years after you have graduated. And they are totally reachable. They like to communicate. They remember how you worked with them, how you learned, what you did. So this is quite amazing. These two things, but also the third thing, and that is the quality of peers. And that is something I've been thinking about, I've been reflecting on for years after my graduation. I think the depth, the experience, but also the human level of these people that I studied with at this class, it was absolutely amazing. So these three things.
Fantastic. You're absolutely right that our professors really remember their students for a very, very long time. And the one piece of recommendation I think I would like to make to our future students and current students is that keep that relation going on, and you find you're tapping into a huge resource of network and cutting-edge research results. Great. Last question. You mentioned that after graduation, well, clearly you went to Russia, and then I know that you've been all over East Europe and then Europe. So what does it mean to be a global citizen now? You know, 10 years ago, I wouldn't even ask this question. Every international student is a global citizen, but things change quite a bit. So tell us, how does it feel now?
So 10 years ago, being a global citizen was fun, it was privilege, and it was assumed and looked at as a good thing. Nowadays, we are in somewhat more nuanced world. And whereas I used to teach people and my students in classes, I teach negotiations, I used to teach them that, you know, having a large, high-quality network is a benefit, it's a social capital. Nowadays, I also tell them one thing that I assume is quite important. When you stretch yourself over countries, cultures, industries, you become thinner in some, you know, in some point of view, in some way. So you are overstretched, and there's not enough of you in every single place, space and time. Which means that sometimes, in order to become a bridge, you have to become less formidable in a certain place, within a certain culture and a certain environment. So you are becoming less that of a Russian or a Chinese, and you're becoming something else. You're stretching yourself between countries and cultures to become that person. And sometimes other people can feel this. And they can sometimes see it as a lack of commitment to a certain place or a certain culture or a certain world. And you have to think about that. Because they do have their reason to think about this. But if you don't do that, you cannot take perspectives of this world that you're trying to connect. So that's one important thing. Another important thing probably is that in this world, which is overloaded with information, and the world that is trying to attract your attention every single second and keep it for as long as possible, I think a really large international network, it creates a flow of information, and sometimes you become a bottleneck in that flow. So you have to think about that too. You have to organize it somehow. You have to structure it somehow. You have to work with that somehow systematically. Otherwise you become a bottleneck, and that is not a good thing.
Great. I recall 10 years ago when we were in the US attending your graduation ceremony.
Oh, wow.
We were in New York, and we took a stroll in Central Park.
That's right.
And we talk about that, but in a very different perspective. We talked about education.
That's right.
We talked about China, US, and culturally, how is that possible to, well, basically make a better world. And I think the pre-assumption at that time from both of us is that the world is going to be better. I think we lived in that belief. Now looking back, it's probably somewhere, I think we were at the juncture of time at that moment. But it's always good to know that you plan ahead, and then you jump into the things that you always want to pursue. I think this is something that all our graduates should be considering, not just reading and taking class, but always think ahead. And global citizens are the still most important products of this program. It's not, factory like this are becoming less and less available in the market. But great talk to you.
Yeah, I think that being global citizen is less fun. It is still a privilege.
Right.
And it's more work now.
Right.
And I also think that there is some sort of serendipity that is important in the program, and that I think that the load of this serendipity I received during my studies, the energy that helped me to open up to opportunities and be able to catch them when they arrive. So that's still important.
Great, Egor. Nice talking to you.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah.
Hey,
sure.
Cheers.
Cheers.